Django tutorial. Okay, so I tried to record this multiple times, but it didn't work for some reason, so I'm going to record it again. Sorry for not publishing this video immediately because I'm having some uploading issues, so I'm re-recording this video. But anyway, we're talking about form processing today. So let's go ahead and get started. So, form processing is one of the most important concepts in web development. So what we'll do is we'll make a new app. Start app, just kind of forms. We'll show two kinds of form, native HTML form and a Django form. So let's go ahead and wait this to get started. Alright. So now what we'll do is let's go ahead and add this forms let's add this forms to our URL.py. So pass forms, and then we'll say include forms.urls. Alright, so now we create a form. Now we link the forms apps URL to the project's URL, and then we're also going to put this in installed app. So let's put this in here, forms. Alright, now what we'll do is we will go ahead and go into our views.py. No, we will go ahead. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and create URLs.py for this forms app. And then in here we will say from Django.urls import pass from .import views URL patterns, and then we'll go ahead and say let's go ahead and create our first URL with that. So pass, go ahead and say HTML form. We'll go ahead and associate this with views.html form, and then name is just gonna be HTML form. Alright, so now in views.py we're gonna go ahead and create HTML form function. So what we'll basically do is we'll basically render a simple HTML form. So we'll say define HTML form. We will say request, and then here what I will specifically say is we're just gonna say return render request, and then let's render templates. So for template we can say forms slash HTML form.html, and now let's go create templates. Templates forms, and then here we'll create HTML form. So speaking of templates, there is actually a way to inherit a template. So in here, what we will say is we're going to create a layout.html, and then this will put all of our contents here, and then we're just gonna call this form demonstrate. So here is, let's leave a block main. So this is like the placeholder that for all the child templates which inherit this templates will include, because they may vary what happen inside of them, the body tag. And then back into HTML form, what we could say is extend layout.html, and we need to say forms here, And then in here, what we could say is block body, block main. Usually we also say title and block, and then title, so you can substitute different HTML title. Excuse me. So, but for now, I'm just gonna create a really simple, and then we'll set the message to post HTML form. So now what we'll say is we'll set this input type to text, name is text, placeholder, let's just call this name, and then we'll say input type equals submit to submit this form. And then now let's go ahead and actually start the server. Python string manager py run server. And then we will go ahead and see what do we see. Alright, so 127 8,000. No page found because we didn't implement that. We're just gonna say /forms and then HTML form. And now you could see a simple HTML form showed up. So now if I just submit, so dev with me, and then submit. And now what you see is an error, which I intentionally showed this. It's called forbidden 403 error. It's a CSRF verification failed, request aborted. So what is CSRF? Well, CSRF stands for cross-site request forgery attack. This can involve the hacker might use this form for their purpose. You can imagine as a bank. The user maybe assign the action to this form, where if the customer actually fill out, they're actually gonna withdraw money to their account. So this is a security purpose. And to use that, we'll copy this CSRF token here. And then we'll go ahead and paste it here. So I put it here. And now if we refresh again, what we see, and then if we go ahead and open up our inspector, go to elements, and now what you see, if I make it bigger, now what you see is it's a hidden input type, which means it won't shows up, and then it has a name called CSRF middleware token with a random generated value. So if you go to settings.py in your project, and you should see in the middleware section, the CSRF view middleware is automatically installed. That's why you can use it. It's for security purpose. Django is being smart on that. And now I can actually submit the form. But before I do that, let's just implement what will happen after I submit the form. Since the method is post, what we could say is if request the method equals to post, and now what we'll say is, let's just say return HTTP. Let's also import HTTP. So from Django.http import HTTP response. And here I'm just gonna say HTTP response request.post, all cap, and then you can think as a dictionary. You can use it as a dictionary, or you can use .get, and then put your key here, which is the name of your field. And then now, if we go ahead and refresh and wait, we try again. Whoops. Looks like we get an error. Let me take a look. Let me take a look. Did I not set this? Okay, I set this to text for some reason. It's supposed to be name. And then now everything should work. Sorry about that. Now if we refresh again, and then if we submit, and now what you see is the name that you just submitted shows up on the screen. So this is how you can use like the custom HTML form. But it turns out that Django has a way that you can create a form in native Django, so in server side, and then later return this to the front end. So what we could do is we could say from Django import form. The import form. From Django import forms. And then now what we could say is we can create a class, and then let's just call this name form. And then here we will extend the class as predefined. In here, we extend this this class from the forms module. And then what we could say is let's create some field. So you can say name equals form dot chart field. This just stands for character field. And then what I could say is label is your name. And then yeah. So that's all the minimum value you need to fill out. There are also other fields you can take a look on the Django forms documentation, which I will link to the description down below. Okay, and then let's see. So now what we could do is let's go ahead and create a new route. Let's just call this Django form. And then here, what I could say is if request.method equals to post, we'll go ahead and pass for now, which means we will not worry about that just yet. And then, or otherwise, you could say return render. Let's go ahead and call this form slash Django form dot HTML. And then now what we are going to do, okay, I forgot to pass request. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to using context. So what context is this is like this is additional information that you can fill out. So you could actually pass information from server-side Django to front-end HTML templates. So the key, I'm just going to call this form, and the value is we're going to create a new instance of the name form. So you know what form to actually shows up to there. Alright, so now let's go back to, let's go and create Django form.html. Here. Django form.html. And then here what we will say is it will have similar. So I will go ahead and copy this, paste it here. But what will happen is instead of just fill this field right here, what I could say instead is using this Django templating language syntax, which I actually created a tutorial on Jinja, which is really similar to the Django's templating language. You can check it out. I talk about for loops, stuff like that. But we'll talk about if they have like major differences between Jinja and Django syntax, templating language. I will talk about that. But you can use this to reference a variable. So let's take a look what will happen. And let's see urls.py here. What I would do is pass Django form views dot Django form name equals Django form. Alright, so now what we could say is we can go to Django form. .html. Well, no, I mean this route. So now you could see what you see. Well, now you could see we got a label, Got a field can put our text in. I got a submit button. Let me make this bigger. And then now if I fill out my name again, I can fill out my name, but it will return view error most likely because it didn't implement when the form actually gets submitted. So now we'll go back to implement that part. So in here, what we will say is let's first create a new instance of the form. Not exactly, but we will say form equals name form. But we don't want only do that because we don't want to create an empty form. We want to create a form that has users' information filled in. So what we could say is we can say request.post. This which get all the data that users send using the post request, and then the Django will take care about put the information into the form. Put into the form, and then now what we could say is we could say first is we need to check is it valid or not. So we could say if form.is valid. Now what we could say is let's just go ahead return HTTP response, and then we'll use form.cleaned data. So this is which gives all the field as a dictionary. So this changes to a dictionary. This is a key, and the users put and the user submitted value will be the value of that key. So to get that, we can say simply set using dictionary, and then can put name here. And otherwise, if the form is not valid, what we could say is return a HTTP response not valid. Alright, so now if we go and refresh this page, what we see is exactly the same thing. Let's just fill out my name, submit, and now you can see your input field get print in, print out as well. But then most of you say, hey, why would you tell us the two-way? First is I want to stick to the traditional way because HTML. Because if you are using Flask, if I watch my Flask tutorial, Flask doesn't come with this. You can there's some other extension that can support you, but first is learning HTML and how native form works is important. But since we're using Django, we're probably going to use this more Django-friendly way instead, and this is going to give us, as a developer, much more power. Again, you can check all the fields that's Django form supported, link in down description below. Alright, so that's it for this video. If you like it, please smash the like button and subscribe button as well if you haven't done so yet. And take care of yourself during this unprecedented time. Next time we'll talk about SQL. And specifically, this file. This file. Yeah. Alright, thanks for watching. Take care of yourself and others.